What's up guys, Syiler here, and I am back with another mount guide, and this time we're going to be running through various rare mounts that have a low drop or proc chance that you can have multiple attempts at in one day on one character. So if you just want to grind out a mount, then this is definitely going to be the video for you, and you're not going to have to wait more than an hour to have another go. Most of these you'll be able to just have continuous attempts at, but there are a few on the list where you might need to wait 30-40 minutes to have another chance at the mount. The first mount on our list is going to be the Rivendare's Deathcharger, and it's kind of this undead skeletal warhorse thing. Kind of cool if you're Alliance, not that cool if you're Horde because we have easy access to them anyway. But this mount is going to drop from Strathalholm, which is a dungeon, and we'll find that in the Eastern Kingdoms, and within the Eastern Kingdoms in Eastern Plaguelands. And up in kind of the north section of Eastern Plaguelands, we'll have the Plague Wood, and then this like little gate. Inside the gate will be the entrance that we need for the dungeon. There is the main entrance to Strath that you can take, but that takes you into the living side. That's no good. We want to go through the side entrance or the service entrance and end up in the undead section, which is going to give us a chance at the mount. So the mount comes from the last boss, and it's on about a 1% drop chance. And to get to the last boss, you need to clear out the 3 buildings. So inside each of these 3 like little buildings, there'll be NPCs inside. You kill all of them, and once you've done 3 of those, you'll have access to the Slaughter Square, which is where the last boss is. In terms of drop chance, as I said, it's 1%, so you're not gonna do it that fast. You might get lucky and get it really quickly, but in general, it is going to take you quite a while as it is 1%. But the nice thing is this is a dungeon, so we can clear through it, run out, reset it, run back in, and give it another go. So you can essentially farm this all day. The only thing that will slow you down is the dungeon lockout, which means when you've done the dungeon or done 10 dungeons within an hour, you have to wait until the hour rolls over, and then you can start going again. So if you did your first dungeon at 10 minutes past 1, you'll be able to do your 11th dungeon at 10 minutes past 2 once the hour ticks over. So it kind of rolls over like that. So once we've cleared out the 3 buildings as you've seen, then we can head to the Slaughter Square. You're going to kill off all these A-bombs, and then a boss A-bomb will spawn, and then a bunch of undead mobs. And once we've killed those undead mobs, then we'll have this wave of like skeletal guards, and then we finally have access to the last boss. So this place is going to take you about 4, maybe 5 minutes to run. That's including clearing the place and running back out and resetting. So you're looking at about 40 minutes per hour. So you're going to have about 15 to 20 minutes downtime per hour. The next mount up is the Drake of the North Wind. And this is very similar to the Deathcharger, where it's going to come from a dungeon. And this is going to come from Vortex Pinnacle, which we're going to find in Uldum. And it's all the way down to the south in the sky. So you will need to fly up to this place to access it. And you want to make sure you're on normal difficulty for this, because if you're on heroic, you'll only be able to do it once and you'll be locked out after that. But if you're on normal, you can keep doing it over and over and over again and have basically unlimited attempts until you get the mount. Once again, you will face the dreaded dungeon lockout eventually, where you're going to have to wait a little bit, but you can farm this all day long after the lockout rolls over and resets essentially. So this comes from the second boss, and it's going to be on about a 1% drop chance as well. So not going to be that easy to get. You're going to once again have to get lucky if you get it early, or it's going to take you a few attempts and could take a million attempts, well, a few hundred if you get unlucky. We can skip all this trash, we don't need to do anything with it. We do need to kill this boss though to activate the kind of teleporter. So once that boss is dead, we can click on this and it will take us to the next section of the dungeon. And then from here we can run over to the next boss, which is the one that's going to give us the chance at the Drake of the North Wind. And it's quite a cool mount as well. It's definitely not a bad one for a dungeon mount. So worth going after, trying to get. These Howling Gales might knock you back. I think because the low level they miss a lot. But if you're finding yourself being knocked back, you're maybe on a low level character, then just hit them and it'll stop the wave from happening, the knockback from happening for a few seconds, and you can pass by. Once again, we're skipping off all this trash because we just have no real reason to kill it. And then we're finally at the second boss that we can kill and have a chance at the Drake of the North Wind. Now, once the boss is dead, what I'd recommend doing is jumping off the platform. It won't kill you, but what it'll do is teleport you to the start of the dungeon, which is going to make it easier to reset and run again. The next mount up, very similar to the last 2 that we've just covered. This is the Vitreous Stone Drake, and this is going to come from Stone Core in Deepholm. And very similar to Vortex Pinnacle, this dungeon has a heroic and normal difficulty. The mount can come from both, and it's going to have the same drop chance on both. So you want to make sure you are doing it on normal difficulty because you're going to have more attempts. Now this dungeon is very quick to clear, and I was semi-tempted to not even put it on the list because of how quick it is to clear, but I thought it was worth mentioning still because you could be doing other stuff while you're waiting for your dungeon timer to reset. But this run is probably going to take about 2 minutes total, so 10 runs is going to be about 20 minutes, which means you'll have about 40 minutes downtime before you can run the dungeon again, and that was a little bit too much for what I was hoping for the video. But some people might be slower, and there's other things you can be doing as well while you're waiting that 40 minutes. And some of the things are in this video too. So there's other mounts that you can be farming while you wait for the 40-minute downtime, and then you can come back and give it another go. This dungeon's pretty straightforward, just run through until you get to this boss, kill the boss, click the teleporter, and then get yourself out and reset again. Nothing too special you need to know, apart from right at the beginning of the dungeon, make sure you are killing Millhouse, because if you don't kill Millhouse in each of the packs, then you won't get the first boss to spawn, which means the wall won't break. The next mounts up are actually going to be fishing mounts, because fishing mounts are a drop chance type mount as well. And the first two up are going to be the sea turtle and the riding turtle. Now the sea turtle and the riding turtle can both come from the garrison, but you will need a level 3 garrison, which requires you to do some stuff in your garrison and get an achievement. But when you fish in your garrison, you have a chance of getting these green fish items. There's slightly different for Alliance, but same gist. Once you fish it up, you use it and it'll summon a mob, and that mob has a chance of giving either the sea turtle or the riding turtle. Now, if you don't want to bother with your garrison, maybe you've not got it set up, then you can also fish in Northrend, Kata, and Pandaria schools of fish for a chance at the sea turtle. Unfortunately, the riding turtle only comes from garrisons. The next mount up is going to be the pond nettle, and this is going to come from Antoran Wastes in Argus, so you will need to get yourself to Argus if you haven't unlocked that. There's some stuff in Legion that you'll need to do prior, but once you do get Argus unlocked, you'll need to do some quest chains as well to eventually unlock the Antoran Wastes. And then once you have the Antoran Wastes, just fish in a green pool. The green pools at Hope Landing seem to be the most popular. Just fish here and keep fishing until you get the pond nettle. Now, people say it takes some thousands of casts, so you could be here for quite a while, but it's something to do, and you can continuously do this until you eventually get the mount. There's no cooldown or lockout. You just keep fishing away, and eventually you will get yourself the mount. It's just going to take a little bit of patience, a little bit of time. It's not the most fun thing in the world, but as I said, it is something you can continuously do and farm out for a day, for a week, whatever it is that you want to do with this mount. The next mount up we have is the BFA equivalent of the pond nettle, and that is going to be the Great Sea Ray, another like swimming mount only, except this one is bind on equip, so you could buy it from the auction house if you wanted to, or you can sell them too. And any kind of shore section, so not inland, outland basically, where you're around the shore, anywhere you fish in either Kulturas or Zandalar, you'll have a chance of getting the Great Sea Ray. It was a lot more easier to get earlier on in the expansion, but since then they've nerfed it. You don't have to fish in a school of fish or anything like that, just straight into the water and you'll have a chance. But the chance isn't that low, and once again people are reporting thousands and thousands of casts before they get theirs. So once again, be a little bit patient with this one because it could take you quite some time and you need to be kind of prepared for that to happen. So, but eventually you will get it, and as I said, you can sell them too, so if you want to grind these out and sell them, you probably make about, I think they're going for about 20,000 gold, so not a crazy amount of gold, but it's something. Next up we have the BFA drop mounts, and the first one up is the Dune Scavenger. And this is basically a hyena looking mount. It's quite cool. It is bind on equipped and sells for quite a lot of gold, and this will come from pretty much every Sethrak mob in Vol'dun. So you can grind these Sethrak mobs, find an area that's pretty good. This one's quite recommended up in the north where I am now. You just grab all the Sethraks together, AoE them down, and eventually you'll get the mount. Now, it's on about a 0.1, 0.2% drop chance, so quite low. It's going to take you a lot of kills to get, but once again, this is something you can grind out. There's no lockout or anything along those lines, and it is BOE, so you could even sell these and make yourself some gold. And people were doing that originally at the start of the expansion with like farm groups and stuff. Since then, they've nerfed some of the areas and stuff, so it's a little bit harder to get, but it means the value's gone up too. The next one up is the Leaping Vein Seeker, and very similar to the Dune Scavenger, this is going to come from a specific type of mob, And this one is going to come from blood trolls. Now, there can be some blood trolls it won't drop from, but as far as it seems, the vast majority of them it does come from. And up in Torga's Rest, where we are on the map now, seems to be quite a popular spot in Nazmir. So you just want to grind the blood trolls, group them all up, AoE them down, and get yourself a chance at the Leaping Vein Seeker. And once again, very similar to the Dune Scavenger, this is going to be a BOE mount, and one that's a little bit more sought after, I believe, because it's a flying mount too. So people have a little bit more interest in it, but I'm not too sure on that. That's just kind of a guess. But either way, these mounts are worth quite a lot. But once again, it is on quite a low drop chance in the zeros, like 0.1, 0.2%. So you're going to be killing a lot of mobs to get one of these. Now the upside is you're going to be getting a lot of gold and raw materials and things that you can bend and disenchant and stuff. So it isn't going to be a complete waste of time either, because you're going to be getting some value out of the farm. But until you get the mount, you're not really achieving your true goal from the farm anyway. But this is something you can continuously do all day long and have a chance at getting yourself a mount and earning some stuff along the way. The next one of these up is the Terrified Pack Mule. And following the same theme, this is going to drop from a specific type of mob. It's BOE, and you're going to have a chance of getting it. Very, very low chance though. This is going to come from Drusvar, and from the Hex Thralled type mobs, so the kind of witchy mobs. These ones are going to have a chance of dropping the Terrified Pack Mule. And this area I'm in now is one that's recommended, but it was currently the world quest. There was a lot of people here, and it just didn't seem very good. So you just want to find yourself an area where there's these type of mobs in Drusvar and just grind them away. You can check, I would recommend checking as well, like comments on Wowhead and places like that, just to see if there are good efficient spots and if those mobs are kind of confirmed to drop it, because there's some mobs that aren't confirmed yet and they might not actually drop it. The final one up is the Golden Mane, and very similar to the last three, it's going to have a specific type of mob it comes from, specific area, well-ish, and also it's going to be BOE. So you're going to get this one from Stormsong Valley mainly, and from the Tide Sage related mobs, so the ones that are all about the sea and the cultist type ones. These are going to give you a chance at getting the Golden Mane. The Brine Works, which is off to the eastish side of the zone, not quite the Shrine of the Storms east, but just before that, you're going to find the Brine Works, and apparently this is quite a popular spot to farm. It seemed pretty good, a lot of mobs quite close together, so if no one else is farming here, or maybe you can group up with them, it seemed quite ideal. A lot of mobs to the point that I'm nearly dying, so that's quite ideal for a farming spot, and is going to give you a good chance. And like all the rest of these, this is on quite a low drop chance in the zeros. The next two mounts up are going to be from Archaeology. Once again, this is something you can just grind away at and have a chance of getting the mounts. The first one up is going to be the Fossilized Raptor, which comes from Fossil Digs. And then the next one is going to be the Ultramarine Battle Tank, which is going to come from the Tolvir Digs. And both of these just require you to keep gathering Archaeology dig points and making things until you eventually get the proc for the mounts. Now there is a method that a lot of people use for Archaeology that makes life a little bit easier. You will need your Lore Walker's rep from Mr. Pandaria to the Exalted, which isn't that difficult to get. All you need is to go and do the red disc guide, where you fly around and you collect the scrolls, and when you do that, it takes about an hour, you'll get to Exalted. So if you want to do that prior, so you can do this Archaeology method, then feel free. I would definitely recommend it, because what we're going to get from this is we're going to be able to buy a item for 2 dig boxes. So when you do the Warlords of Draenor digs or whatever, you get a box, or Mr. Pandaria too, that you can hand in for other things. If you save up 2 of them, we're going to be able to buy this item that one rerolls our current dig sites to be manted, randomizes them, and we have another item that guarantees them to be manted for a day. So we use the randomizer to make them all into manted ones, and then every single dig site we get from there on out for the next day is going to be manted. So it just makes it a lot more efficient to farm, and then you farm up all the manted dig sites, you keep turning them in, and then you head back to the vendor here, and you'll be able to turn in the boxes for either Tolvir or fossils, and grind up your Tolvir or fossil Archaeology that way. The reason this is so efficient is because the Tolvir especially is very RNG. You might get 1 dig site in Kalimdor, and then 20 dig sites later you get another one, so it's very slow. While this way you're guaranteed to always get your Tolvir boxes, because you're going to be directly trading the Mantid boxes for Tolvair boxes. So it's going to be quite efficient. So definitely would recommend that for the Archaeology stuff. The next up is the Mythic Plus dungeons. We're going to have the Mummified Raptor, we're going to have Sharkbait, and we're going to have Underrock Krog. And these all come from M+. They come from Mythic as well, but we can farm these continuously through doing M+. So if you have a 120 character that's relatively geared, you can just find keys between 2 and 5, make them nice and easy, and just keep joining groups for the Underrot, for King's Rest, and for Freehold. Complete the full run, and you'll have a chance of getting the mount. So I'm in a free right now, and we're just going to grind it up. We're going to keep doing low keys, and eventually you'll have a chance of getting the mount. So this is something you can do over and over and over again, and eventually you'll have a chance of getting the mount. Now, once again, this is a mount that's on a really low drop chance. It's going to be in the noughts. So you're not going to see this mount very often, but it is, once again, something you can just continuously grind until it does eventually proc. And the nice thing about this too is you're going to be getting a little bit of artifact power, and you might get that God Titan Forge proc and end up with a piece of gear that you can actually use too. So there's a little bit more value in this as well. But you might struggle to find groups and there might be slow periods, but this is something you can continuously farm quite easily. Because there's going to be groups for Underrot and King's Rest and stuff that you can get into, especially if you're more geared. Groups should easily want to accept you into the group. So the next one up on our list is going to be Island Expeditions. And this one's a little bit weird, and obviously not many people enjoy it, but it's something you can continuously grind for a chance at a mount. And there's going to be 9 different mounts we can get. The Bloodforged Hunter, the Island Thunderscale, which is quite cool. I do like that one. We're going to get Squawks, which is the green parrot, very similar to Sharkbait, but this one's green. We're going to have the Twilight Avenger, which is the kind of Twilight Drake. Kind of similar to the Twilight Drake from Obsidian Sanctum, but a little bit different. More pinkish, I think. We're going to have the Craighorn Chasm Leaper, which is just a Yeti thing. We're going to have Quinshow's Eternal Hound, which is quite a more unique mount. Obviously, there was the Mr. Pandaria Collector's Edition, very similar. We've got the Risen Mare, kind of a boring mount. We're going to have the Stonehide Elderhorn, which is a moose, kind of blackish coloured moose. Not too bad. And then finally, we're going to have a water-only mount, which is going to be the Surf Jelly. So all of these mounts come from doing islands. But the thing with Island Expeditions is it's not guaranteed what mount you can get. It depends on the types of mobs and the map you're on. So if you're on a map where you're going to get the pirate spawns, then you're going to have a chance of getting Squawks. Or if you do one where you get the Twilight Drakes, then you're going to have a chance of getting the Twilight Avenger. So it's basically theme-based, and the higher difficulty you do, the better your chance is going to be at getting a mount. So ideally you want to farm Mythic. If you get a good group, just continuously farm out the Mythic ones. If not, Heroic is going to be your next best bet. Quite easy to do still, and quite soloable-ish if you got decent gear. But Mythic is ideal, so try and get a good group to just grind those out. And you're going to be able to do this all day long and get yourself some AP and also a chance at a mount. The final one I wasn't too sure if I was going to add, but this is the Thundering Onyx Cloud Serpent. And it essentially comes from Hulon, but Hulon is on a 40 to 60-ish minute respawn. So if you want more of an AFK grind, then this is going to be one that's more interesting to you. Quite a cool mount though. It's on about a sub 1% drop chance, around 1%, so not too bad, but not that common either. And we're going to find Hulon on the Timeless Isle, which is in Mr. Pandaria. And on this spot, exactly where I am now, I think it's the Blazing Way. This is where Hulon's going to spawn, and you're going to have to be quick. If you are AFK farming this, you're kind of stood here waiting, doing something else, you want to be ready for it to spawn. So after 30 minutes, be at your computer ready, because it dies pretty damn quick. It doesn't have kind of a HP immunity. So when people hit it, it's going to die very, very quickly. But you can kill this mob over and over again all day long and have a chance of getting the Thundering Onyx Cloud Serpent. So that is it. Those are all the mounts we've gone through in this video. Hopefully there's some on here that you've decided you want to go and grind all day and give yourself a chance of getting those mounts. Some quite interesting ones to get, some ones that can be valuable in terms of gold. So you've got a few options there. So hopefully this video was nice. Look out for more videos like this. I'll probably do one very similar to this, but looking at ones that come from reputations and things like that you can grind, so guaranteed mounts instead of drop chance based ones. If you like that idea, let me know, and subscribe for more content coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya!